Excuse me, do you folks know how many people lived at this address on April 1st?
By this month, TJ was hoping to be making good money knocking on doors for the census.
I was expecting to work 40 hours a week for at least a month, ideally 2 months.
Instead, he only worked 20 hours a week for 2 weeks.
This is entirely disorganized and just lacks any feeling of any preparation or order at all.
We spoke with 5 workers who are frustrated with everything from a lack of communication from management to glitches in the census interview app. It couldn't have come at a worse time for people who needed the income. Some census takers fear retribution for speaking out since employees are not permitted to give interviews. TJ is not his real name. He asked us to make clear he's giving us his personal views. Another census employee would only let us use her voice.
I was collecting a pandemic unemployment as a self-employed contractor, so I was looking forward to making, they told me it would be $25 an hour for enumerators in California, and I thought that sounded like a pretty decent thing.
She was counting on making around $8,000 over 3 months of work, but then
I didn't hear from them for March, April, May, June, maybe 3 months. 3 months I did not hear from the census. I definitely wanted to work for them.
The Census Bureau has hired far fewer census takers than in previous years. In 2010, it hired more than 700,000 census takers, but they'd only hired around 300,000 census takers by mid-August 2020, according to the Government Accountability Office. Due to the pandemic, the Bureau stopped its field operations in March, just 1 week after starting the count for most of the U.S. In April, the official census count deadline was extended to October 31st. The agency did not resume full field operations until June. But in early August, the Trump administration announced it was ending the count 4 weeks early on September 30th. That means fewer paid hours for some workers banking on a paycheck in a tough job market.
If I could have worked for $15 an hour starting in June, I would have made a lot more money, and it is money that I was kind of relying on.
The census offered pay incentives to boost productivity. Workers we spoke with say the requirements were unachievable, like interviewing 9 households in 1 hour. The Government Accountability Office says not enough workers and shortening the deadline pose a risk to a complete and accurate count, especially in communities of color.
But we are concerned about the undercount. We've been concerned about that really since we kicked off our campaign.
No, census no!
There's kind of a collective feeling of, yeah, this is messed up. This is not working right, and we just don't know what to do.
Let's get counted! Let's get counted!
A spokesperson for the census says they hired for, quote, what they need this decade because of the transition from paper to more digital counting. They needed fewer census takers this year. Responding to the specific claims of a disorganized working environment this year, the census also told NBC News, quote, whenever you have that large of a workforce, there can be some chaos, absolutely, and that's part of the dynamic of working in the census environment.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.